This is the machine decline chest press, an exercise to help target the lower part of the chest. Although a assisted or body weight chest step will line up the muscle fibers of the lower part of the chest a little bit better, this machine is a little bit easier to set up, maintain good form, and also push closer to failure. As well as having a path that allows converging towards the center of the body and can also be a little bit better if you have lots of shoulder pain. For that setup, you're going to adjust that seat at a height so whenever you put those hands on the handles, they're about nipple level or at the bottom of the chest. For those hands, make sure they're at a width to where at the bottom of the movement, when the chest is fully stretched, the hands are slightly wider than the elbow. This is going to give you a stronger pressing position at the very bottom and allow you to get a better stretch as well too. Just like any other pressing movement, you want to make sure that those feet are behind those knees, especially on this machine. It's going to prevent you from sliding that butt forward. And then also, we're going to have a big arch in the back. So make sure you're pushing that chest up, belly butting forward, getting a really good arch on that chest. That way, whenever you are pressing, you're lining up the muscle fibers a little bit better with the bottom of the chest. Before you get that first press in, make sure you are tucking those elbows in towards the body. So once you get those hands on the handles, imagine like you're trying to push that elbow slightly down as you simultaneously arch that back and push that chest up. Also make sure that that butt is all the way back on the bench, and in order to prevent your butt from sliding forward, imagine with those feet, when they're behind those knees, imagine like you're not just pressing down into the ground, but like you're trying to push those feet forward, almost like you're doing a leg extension. Once you have that set up right, when you are pushing forward, imagine like you were trying to push not just away from you, but also like you're trying to bring those hands and those elbows towards the center of your body. Whenever you're pushing away, try not to lock out those elbows at the very top. This is going to help you keep the tension on the chest and also avoid overuse of the tricep, as well as minimizing shrugging up those shoulders. During that eccentric, on that way back, it can be real easy to shrug those shoulders up as you are going back. So to avoid this, make sure that you're doing it nice and slow. As you are going back down, imagine like you're trying to push those elbows out towards the sides of your body and also tucking that elbow slightly down. Also make sure that when you are pressing or getting those hands into position, you're not pushing that wrist down and those knuckles back, almost like you are revving a motorcycle. This is going to cause a little bit more tension on the wrist and can cause you wrist pain if you do this repeatedly. Another big tip as you are pressing to avoid shoulder pain when doing this exercise or potential injury is as you're pressing away, don't let that elbow come up towards the ceiling. Instead, as you are pressing, just like you began that motion, keep pressing that elbow down as you're pushing away from your body. On those last few reps, when you're approaching failure, your form is going to want to break down. So to avoid that, squeeze that core super tight and push those feet down and forward like I mentioned before to keep that butt back and avoid it from lifting up and potentially injuring your shoulder. Also super important is machine selection on these decline chest press machines. I'm using a pin loaded machine where it has a weight stack and you select the weight with the pin. These machines tend to have even resistance through the entire range of motion, so the same resistance at the very bottom as the very top. Because of this, I prefer a pin-loaded machine chest press versus a plate-loaded machine. On a pin-loaded one, you're going to get the same resistance through the entire range of motion versus a plate-loaded machine chest press. It's going to get a little bit harder as you push away from your body. Because of this, I often find myself using a little bit more of the triceps as I push away from my body on a plate-loaded machine chest press, and also see my form break down a little bit easier. So that's why I prefer the pin-loaded machine chest press. However, if you prefer the plate-loaded one or only have the plate-loaded one accessible to you at your gym, do that one, but make sure you have the form super solid, keeping everything tight. Let's grow that chest, like this video, and make sure you are subscribed, as well as check out the other tutorials for a whole bunch of other exercises that I have on my channel. Also, if you have any additional tips, leave them in the comment section down below.